Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are reviewing Ghostbusters Afterlife, or as I like to call it, Ghostbusters, We're Doing It Again. Directed by Jason Reitman, starring Finn Wolfhard, Mckenna Grace and Paul Rudd. Before we go any further, if you could be a dear, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. It really does mean a lot to me. It helps the channel massively, and we thank you if you do. A little bit of additional news on this video as well. If you could get yourself over to my Instagram page, which I will put up on the screen here. I'm currently hosting a Best Christmas Movie Knockout Tournament on my Instagram story. Between 16 films that I have chosen myself, the public get to vote on their favourite, and the winner will be reviewed by yours truly. So go over to my Instagram page when you get a chance and give me a follow. I'll likely follow you back. Have a look at my Instagram story and put your votes in. Thank you. So Ghostbusters Afterlife is a kind of direct sequel to the original Ghostbusters. They do acknowledge the existence of the first Ghostbusters. Follows an American family, but more specifically the children, who discover the history of the Ghostbusters and slowly take on the role themselves, if you will. Personally, for me, I'm just not that nostalgic about Ghostbusters. I like the first one. That's kind of as far as it goes for me, really. So I wasn't entirely that excited to go and see this one. I did have some concerns going in, but I did try to be as open-minded as I possibly could be. Sadly, a lot of my concerns ended up being proved to be correct. I will start with some positives. I do think it's filmed really nicely, and I also thought the acting is pretty solid all round. I'm not the biggest fan of Finn Wolfhard, simply because he feels like a one-trick pony, but I thought he was okay here. He's fine, he's got a little bit of character and charm to him, he's somewhat enjoyable. Paul Rudd is excellent, as expected. I mean, it's Paul Rudd. I mean, he is just the most likeable guy going, is he not? He has a very fun role here. I actually enjoyed him a lot. But my personal favourite was Mckenna Grace. I thought she was a real fresh, interesting take on a character, and she brought a good spin to it and injected a bunch of life to it. I thought she was fantastic. I thought the performances all round were pretty damn good. The action scenes I thought were excellent. I really was invested in those moments and kind of felt like I was in the Ecto-1 with them, trying to get that ghost. I thought that was fantastically done. But that really is where the positives kind of come to a crashing halt for me, because after that, I thought this film was really clunky, really grinding through the gears. Its plot felt really slapdash and convenient at times. Nothing really naturally flowed. It seemed to be very sort of like, oh, and this, oh, and this is important, and remember this, oh yes, this is important. It doesn't really seem to know where its aim and focus is here. It wants to pay so much respect to the original that it's struggling to actually be its own film, to be brutally honest with you. I thought the film was incredibly safe, and that's where I lost my interest. Except for the moments of action that were really well done, everything in between bored me. It feels predictable, it feels like it's going through its motions, it feels like it's going to do exactly what the first one does. As much as I praised Mckenna Grace's performance, let's be real, she is Harold Ramis's character from the original. You could even make an argument that Finn Wolfhard is a kind of cut and changed cookie cutter of what Bill Murray does in the first one. He's just sort of modded to be a 17-year-old moody boy rather than a fully grown man with an existential crisis. A quite pervy old man with an existential crisis, if I remember correctly. Yeah, the first one doesn't age that well. I just didn't care. I know that's really mean, but I just didn't care with this film. I just felt like I was just watching it unfold and waiting for it to get to the inevitable, which was, what does the first one do? It relies so heavily on nostalgia. I don't mean to just jump on the bandwagon and say what all the other reviews are saying. That is why I wanted to be open-minded and not just follow the herd. But the herd ain't wrong on this one. I personally, for me, the herd ain't wrong on this one. It's boring and it is relying on the first one's nostalgia. And for me, I'm not that nostalgic to the first one, so this film just really didn't give me anything at all. This actually makes me want to give some credit to the 2016 Ghostbusters, because at least that one really did try to do something new and change it up entirely. They did not rest on their laurels and just do what the first one did. They may have crashed and burned in your opinion. I think it's a very just meh movie. I don't hate it. It's just, yeah. But I have to admit, I gained a respect for it having watched this movie, because this movie is so safe it's got its damn seatbelt on. They're trying to sell an 80s movie in 2021, and it just doesn't work like that, because we've seen it and it's been done to death, and it's been done better since then. This doesn't necessarily feel like it's in the 80s. It feels like it's set in the modern day, and absolutely everything in the modern day has for some reason been styled as if it's the 80s. The look of the cars, the look of the fire hydrants, the way people have curly front bangs and things like that. It has this 80s vibe, but it feels like it's set in 2021. So it just doesn't mesh well. Let me put it this way. It doesn't feel nostalgic to the 80s. It feels like your uncle has caught you watching TikTok videos and is laughing and telling you, pogs were cool back in my day. And you're just left sat there going, I'm sure it was cool. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't actually invite you into experiencing it for yourself. It's just telling you, hey, this thing was cool, wasn't it? And that just doesn't do anything for me. Yes, I realise I am that very uncle, but hey, takes one to know one. That's why I recognise the flaw. So I'm going to give Ghostbusters Afterlife a 4 out of 10. I would suggest you wait until this one is free, or maybe when it's on Netflix. I don't think it's worth the price of a ticket. I don't think it's worth getting the whole family out for popcorn and all the expenses that must come to. I would wait until it's free, personally. But you know, if you're a big Ghostbusters fan, then yes, of course, get yourself a ticket, check it out, and I would love to hear your opinions on it. Thank you for watching this review. Please be sure to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button as well. Please leave a comment too. I would love to know what you thought of Ghostbusters Afterlife. Have you seen it? Did you like it? Do you disagree with me? Let me know in the comment section below. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you on the next review.